This is a 1909 Elmore, 1910 really, but it's a two-stroke.
Oh, two-stroke.
Two-stroke. So
okay.
Kind of crazy how it is. So when we got the car, it actually has a step piston. So on the bottom half of the piston is 6 inches in diameter. On the top half of the piston is actually about 3.5 inches in diameter.
What?
And you have 3 rings at the top, 2 rings at the bottom. And then basically your crankcase is on the bottom. And on the other side, they actually have a fuel rotor. And what a fuel rotor is, Elmore's the only one to ever use it on the two-stroke.
Okay.
And it's a shaft, hollow in the center. It has 4 holes where the carburetor sits. And as it turns around, it drops fuel and air into each pocket, which delivers it to each jug. So almost like a fuel injection for back then.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's just crazy for an Elmore. I mean, it's the...
Now, going back to those pistons, what was the reason for the...
Because you bought them actually, the 2 rings actually use that to draw air and fuel into the cylinder.
Okay.
The other 3 rings on the top part of the piston is the compression part.
Okay, so the intake valve was at the bottom of the piston?
Yeah,
kind of?
they're actually, it's not really a valve.
Midway?
So
okay.
It's, you know, not, you think a two-stroke has a revalve. This doesn't have any
That's
of
true.
it.
That's right.
So there are ports inside these jugs.
Yep.
And as the ports, they're open up, and as the fuel comes and delivered in it, the rings draw it up into the cylinder.
Pull it up.
Yep. So it's two-stroke, up-down. That's all it does.
Right. And being a two-stroke, it's going to have power every downstroke.
Yep.
So that's a lot of power.
Yeah. For 1910.
Yeah.
So crazy. So.
Wow. And this car's in beautiful condition.
Yeah.
Do you know when it was restored?
This was actually restored by an older gentleman and actually, unfortunately, never got a chance to finish it.
I see.
And when we got it, I think we got it from somebody that just threw it together because there was a lot of things that were wrong with it. The rings were seized of the piston, the rotor shaft was in wrong, just a few odds and ends. It was actually just thrown together. So, but I got it running.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we've got a lot of rain lately, so I had a really good test drive with it. So
okay.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Still yet to come, huh?
Still yet to come, yep.
Now, how did the oiling system work on it?
The oil system is basically, your oiler is basically, you can't really see it down here, but it is a oiler. It doesn't really produce any oil pressure. It just drops oil flow.
Yep, look at that.
Okay, and it delivers to the tubes. So the 2 tubes oil the journals on the crankshaft. The other one goes on the other side and shoots oil right into where the throat of the air and the fuel go.
Okay, so primarily it's oiling the crankcase and the crankshaft.
And throws oil,
into the fuel mixture
of the carburetor, so it draws it to each cylinder.
Right.
So, and I'm not up on the fuel oil mixture yet, so I'm putting it in the oil just to make sure. So,
okay.
In the gas.
Keeping it a little experimental still.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, first time, I don't even want to hurt anything.
Right.
The other cool thing about the thing is actually the distributor part of it. And it's basically just a little box. And as that rotor spins around, delivers spark to each cylinder.
Oh, you're kidding. That is really cool.
That was also wrong timing too. So.
Oh yeah, so you had to work that out.
Yeah, and obviously no repair manual. So 1910. So wing it. Yeah, you have to. That's my basically my thing. I wing everything. So
reverse engineer everything. That's it. Okay, and is this also a starter pedal down here?
This is actually the what turns the fuel rotor to advance it. So you can advance the timing, and you can also advance the fuel delivery as well.
Interesting.
Yep. And then your 2 pedals on this side are your emergency brake and your regular brake. Your gas pedal's up here on your timing. And then this one, there's a rod that comes through the floor, and it's actually a compression relief for the exhaust to give it more power. So it just opens up the exhaust so you give it more power.
Okay, so the hot rodders today, they think they're
things already been done before. So
they didn't invent that either.
No.
Wow, and of course you can also adjust the timing on the steering wheel.
Correct.
I'm sure.
Yep.
What about the cooling system?
A cooling system basically is just a water flow, no water pump. It just uses convention of the cycle through the engine. So there's no pump.
Okay, so it's the thermosiphon style. Are these tipped acetylene or are they?
These are gas, also headlights. Yep.
Yeah. Well, this is quite an advanced car for 1910.
Yeah, I mean the fact that I got it running. That was a struggle, you know what I mean?
How much time did you have to spend on it?
Probably about, I would say probably 2 months, taking it apart, put it together, taking it apart, put it together until I find how to figure out everything works.
Right.
You know, because there's no manual. Nobody
It's like
to
trying
call.
to figure out the combination on a safe.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't have a stethoscope, so.
That's good. Well, thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.